Good afternoon to you folks. It's AB here from a Night Shift Podcast, and welcome to our first episode of the South Florida Integrative Health Center podcast. And I'm here. I'm a co-host in this. Typically, I do my own shows, which I'll tell you a little bit about myself in a second. But I want to introduce my co-host here, Dr. Durrell from South Florida Integrative Health Center. He is a nurse practitioner, and he's going to educate us on all kinds of neat cutting-edge medicines. How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Really, really psyched about getting this information out about gut health, and just getting healthier is really our main mission here at South Florida Integrative Health Center. So great to be here discussing a real cutting edge topic, gut health.
Sure, absolutely. And a little before we turn the ball right over to you and hand it off and let you run with it, we've got some good questions about gut health here, I think. I'm a small business fan. I do small business radio podcast to introduce myself a little bit. Been doing it 4 years now. And now I'm moving kind of into the health and wellness field of co-hosting shows. And then the doctor and I had him on as a guest on my show. And then we decided and started discussing about doing a show together. And that's what we've got today. We're going to have multiple different subjects, gut health just being the first of several. And right now, gut health is a big deal. It's in the field of medicine, and also, for example, in the Hollywood movie Barbie, it's mentioned. The Kardashians. There's numerous different things out there between the connection between gut health, your skin health, all kinds. You're connected in all kinds of different ways, and that's what we're going to talk about today is the gut health. So I'll go ahead and fire right off the top. And, what's all this talk about? What's all the big hoopla over gut health?
Well, that's a great question. And I really do see now gut health is becoming at the forefront of getting really to the best level of health. And people are really understanding that if they don't fix what's going on in the gut, they're really not going to reach this optimal level of health. And over the last 15 years, gut health has really taken off to be a root cause of many chronic conditions. Holistic or integrative medicine, alternative medicine has always focused in on the gut and said that it all starts in the gut. In fact, Hippocrates, thousands of years ago, the father of medicine, said all disease starts in the gut. And then this last decade, all this great research about gut health. So what's coming out now is that people are starting to see the connection between skin health and gut health and immune system and inflammation and all the metabolism health, heart health. It's all connected to the gut. So now people want to know, what is gut health? How can I fix my gut? And that's where we come in to really help people to get to this understanding of improving their guts.
Sure. Now, let's say that I either am or I'm convinced I am in really good health. How do I know that I would that I would need some gut health medicine and some treatment? What are some of the signs? And
well, that's the thing about gut health. So it really covers so many different symptoms. In other words, it can be very vague. And at times it could be really out in the open. So, for example, acne, a condition that affects so many people, at times can be occurring because of an overgrowth of opportunistic gut bacteria that is not a dangerous pathology, meaning that the person might not die from it or have a real serious condition. But what it means is they have these other signs. They have acne, for example. They might have different kinds of rashes. They might even have more subtle signs like brain fog after they eat. Or they might have other things, other conditions, like their immune system is overreactive. So they get these histamine reactions, which means more flushing, and they can't tolerate certain foods, or certain conditions, like when they smell certain perfumes. A lot of that is coming from now the gut has been overloaded, because the gut really is what experiences the outside world, meaning what we eat is going into our gut. So the reactions in our gut is because it needs to be a little bit more tolerant of our foods. It can't react to everything. But what happens is the gut gets more reactive and more reactive, where now people are reacting to foods, they're reacting to chemicals, more chemicals in the environment, and they're having conditions such as bloating. They feel more bloated, constipation, diarrhea. They also have far away symptoms, meaning it's not coming directly in the gut. Something like skin, acne, even rheumatoid arthritis, some inflammatory conditions now have a source that they're coming from an overgrowth of bacteria.
I see. Um, what's the connection with that and all the different systems? The skin, inflammation. How's that all connected?
Well, that's a good question. And this is where we're really starting to put things together. So in functional medicine, we want to get to the root cause. We want to optimize people's health. We don't want to just wait for disease. So we put together the most cutting edge of advanced biomarkers, meaning what causes people to not age well. And then we put together the most important markers from learning what we know about gut health. And by putting that together, now we're linking the gut with other systems in the body, such as if somebody's having issues with blood sugars, if someone's having more cardiovascular, more risk for heart disease. And now we're seeing the connection with brain health. So neurotransmitters like serotonin, or these neurotransmitters like dopamine and GABA, are all stemming from whether we have good gut health. And that connects now the gut brain connection and gut skin connection, the gut heart connection. Now there's even more research on the gut lung connection, that an overgrowth of bacteria in the gut can lead to more conditions such as asthma. And that's how it covers all these different systems in the body, and it connects with that.
And maybe able to explain to some of there exactly what a probiotic is, but is just taking probiotics enough to take care of gut issues?
Well, just taking a probiotic is not the whole answer to fixing the gut, because what we see now is that the gut is like a rainforest. It really has a balance of many different types of species that live very well together, and they create health. They create a good optimal health for each person. But when one species, similar to a rainforest, overgrows, it outcrowds the others. And that's when we have poorer health. That's when health is compromised. So a probiotic is only addressing a couple of strands of good bacteria. But we know now that there's many different types of good bacteria. That's what we see in the research and all this latest scientific evidence. So we want to be testing for and seeing if there's other types of good bacteria, not just focused on what's in a probiotic. And a probiotic is not dealing with what might be overgrown. So you could be taking a probiotic, but you're not dealing with then what is overgrowing and causing other issues. Could there be Candida, which is a yeast overgrowing? Could there be parasites overgrowing, or these inflammatory opportunistic bacteria? And by taking just a probiotic, you're not really addressing all these other issues that are so important for gut health.
What's some of the important biomarkers to look for when improving gut health?
Well, that's really, really the cutting edge science and how we can really put things together. When we see inflammation on blood tests, or we see the immune system either fatigued or overreactive to many foods, if we see vitamin deficiencies and mineral deficiencies, if we see neurotransmitter mood issues, we look deeply into the gut, and that's where we really look more into this connection of the gut and these and these functional blood tests, these functional markers that we're helping people with aging. So some of these biomarkers on the stool test, that's very important. And by the way, this is going to be an advanced stool test. It really is different than a blood test. It is a stool test that's using DNA technology, meaning it's very accurate. It's not just a culture that, like the old days, you would see somebody looking under a microscope. That was good in many ways, but it misses quite often on these, because quite often parasites hide much more carefully and you don't get it on that sample. So by using the latest technology, DNA, PCR, which is what they use in forensics, and you use it to look for these bacteria that are beneficial. We use it to look for these bacteria that are opportunistic and inflammatory. So we want biomarkers such as these very beneficial good bacteria like Akkermansia. That's the name of a bacteria that heals the gut. So we do a biomarker that looks for that. We do a biomarker that looks for another bacteria that's very beneficial called fecal bacterium that helps to produce these short chain fatty acids. What those are markers that these bacteria, the good bacteria, make that now help heal the body in other ways. Some of them heal the brain, because that's that gut-brain connection. Some of them heal the gut. So we look for those bacteria. We look for the digestion of fats. That's known as steatocrit. That shows us how a person is digesting fats. We look for inflammation of the gut. That's known as calprotectin. And we look for how the body is recirculating or getting rid of toxins. And that's an enzyme that we can see on an advanced gut test called beta-glucuronidase. Those are some of the most important biomarkers, but there are many others that we look for. Some other very inflammatory bacteria that I didn't list, some other very good beneficial bacteria that I didn't list, some other markers of gut function that I didn't list, like enzyme activity or reactions to foods that are so very important. And these are some other biomarkers that are so key on these advanced microbiome stool tests.
How could a person expect kind of to tie all this together with all the rest of their health as they work on this? What should they expect?
Well, I think it's so important to really have a functional medicine expert or practitioner to guide a person to put it all together, this gut health, because it does take some extensive knowledge to really understand these biomarkers of the gut and tie that together with the biomarkers of these blood tests that we know are markers that contribute to not aging well. Once you put the gut and these blood tests, these functional medicine tests together, you could really put a whole holistic functional medicine integrative program together, a health improvement protocol and plan. And it's a roadmap that really gets a person to reach much more optimal levels, much higher levels of health than when they didn't address all these issues with the gut. And now they pull it all together with the functional medicine labs and the gut microbiome testing and a functional medicine practitioner, such as what we do here at South Florida Integrative Health Center, can now help a person put this together. So their wellness journey is now honed in and focused in to really now have a longevity and a lifelong plan of being and living healthy.
Sure. Well, I think that was very educational. I learned a lot there.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, some great
Do you want to
questions.
plug your websites or your Facebook pages, any of your socials?
Sure. As people can feel free to make a 15-minute discovery call. It's at the Calendly link that's scrolling across the screen. And you could see our website that's at the bottom of the screen, www.sfihc.com. We are on Facebook at South Florida Integrative Health Center and on Instagram at South Florida Integrative Health. A lot of good information there. We're really all about getting the information out there that a person can now be proactive and preventative in their own health journey, so they don't wait for disease and become reactive. They're proactive in their health.
Sure. And everybody be sure and follow on both Spotify and iHeartMedia, the South Florida Integrative Health Center podcast. We'll be up and live on this probably later today. So make sure you follow it so you get notifications when we do a new episode. Well, I thank you very much for your time today. I enjoyed it and got some good information out of that, Doctor.
Well, thank you very much. And everyone have a healthy day.
Absolutely. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.